Hello and welcome to the Philippines. This will be a walking tour from Bamboo Bay Residences in Mandaue to Gatewalk Development by Ayala, also in Mandaue. And I'm going to be walking along Hernan Cortez Street the whole way. And we're just, I think, about one long block from Cebu City. And we will get pretty close to the river that divides Cebu City from Mandaue City as we walk down this way. Anyway, this will eventually take you right into the SM Mall, Cebu City, going this direction. And it's a very busy street in many ways. It gets some pretty heavy traffic usage, and also very busy in the number of businesses that are located along here. So I will be pointing out a few things, businesses, services, a little bit about the culture, the people, as we walk along here. Now, Gatewalk, well, first of all, Bamboo Bay is a condominium. Residences is a condominium. Relatively new. It's 3 towers. I lived there for a little over a year, rented, and in fact I've done a couple of videos in there, and the owner of that, an Australian guy, wants to either sell or rent those out. Reasonably good deal, and I've done a previous video about that. So we're walking from there, and we're walking down towards SM Mall, and we're going to end the video at Gatewalk, Dog's Life there at Gatewalk, which is a huge Ayala development, not so far from SM Mall area. And it includes commercial buildings, retail buildings, condominiums, I believe. I will show you a model of that. They have a model in Ayala Mall. I'll show you the model with many different buildings, some on either side of this street. And I've tried to contact them once or twice and never got a response to try to get additional information, maybe do a video. I don't think they have any models open of their condominiums yet, so that's something that'll happen in the future. Anyway, flatbed, I think he stopped to get something to bite to eat there. Now, wherever I have lived, I have done some of my shopping at the local markets, the public markets, what they call public markets. And I'll show you one of those as we go down here. And you have smaller public markets. I don't know, maybe they're not really public markets, I'm not sure. But they have places along here. Somebody's got a printing press and a paper cutter there. This is charcoal, and these people, I just out of curiosity once I asked them how much, and they said it's not for sale. It's not for sale. It's all pre-sold, and they I think it gets shipped into them, and this is all charcoal that they have pre-sold to other people. Not sure who, but anyway, they get it made probably outside of the city someplace. It gets shipped in here, and they are the retailer. They sell that to somebody. Walking these many streets, and I do walk quite a bit, different parts of the city, and even over the last few months, I've noticed many more businesses going out of business permanently. They just could not hold on during this crisis that we have. Anyway, a lot of these buildings, these stores, all have vacated, and I'm not sure what this was. There was an internet little shop here. A lot of people going in using the computers. A number of other businesses. There is no lack of places to eat. There are many little restaurants, sari stores. Guy there making something. They've got their grills set up, and going from there, it looks like they had some damage here, and they've boarded that off. Looks like a lot of bakeries like this. I think this is a bakery. A lot of bakeries. Filipinos eat a lot of rice and they eat a lot of bread, relatively inexpensive. And I think that is a apartment building right there to the right, relatively new. We had Super Typhoon Odette, international name Rai, come through here December 16th and 17th, did some major damage all the way across the Visayas from east to west. And there's still a fair amount of, most people have electric now, and this is where you get a lot of your advertising is on walls, on telephone poles, apartment for rent, room for rent, car for sale, that type of thing. And as you can see, this is just, you've got lots of choices, plants and vegetables set up along here, as well as sari stores. Sari stores sells mostly little packets of little snacks. They might sell rice, they might sell alcohol. In fact, a friend of mine that owns a sari store, she said her best seller is beer, Red Horse beer. And she doesn't make very much profit on it, but that's what she sells a lot of. But they will sell little packets of shampoo, little packets of just about anything you need, other cleaning supplies. I have found a small, what we'd call a building supply or lumber store, little hamburger shop here. What is it? Buy one, take one for like 39 pesos, about 80 US cents. But another bakery there. Believe me, if you want to eat the bun, just tell them put two of those patties on one bun, because otherwise you're just, that's a pretty thin piece of hamburger for 39 pesos. I was going to go out for a nice long bike ride today, but I've got a number of things going on, just too busy, so I decided to put up a video instead. And I've got a friend flying in from the U.S., and unless he is delayed someplace, I'll meet up with him later this afternoon, him and his wife. And I think they're going to stay here a couple days. They had some issues getting a flight over to another island at a decent price. So I am seeing more foreigners in town. A few more foreigners wandering around in the malls, in the bars, but most of those people, I believe, have some kind of ties here. They've been here before. They have family. They have a relationship with somebody. The real tourists aren't going to travel. Most real tourists are not going to travel. Rice for sale until all the restrictions are dropped, and other countries are finding that out. A little restaurant there, all the food cooking and sitting up there. And I think they're cooking the lechon, the pork lechon, as well as chicken lechon probably. And anyway, a used clothing store, what they call uke, something like that. Means used clothing. They get it in by the bales from someplace, and they spread it out and get some really good deals and some pretty nice clothes in those places, surprisingly. I'm not sure if that's an apartment building or not, but anyway, we're getting it here. Here's the little market here. There again, on the left, you got an overpass, a flyover, what they call, and you got pretty fresh vegetables and fruits, and you'll see down here very fresh meat as well right here.
Hello, good afternoon.
Very fresh, and you get fresh fish in every morning as well. If you get situated in an area, just ask around a little bit, because there is probably a market not too far from where you're at. It's interesting. Once a week I go to a market near me, near the uptown area of Cebu City, and there's a huge carbone market in the downtown area that has the better prices, but it costs a little bit to travel that far, so I go to a local market quite often. And here's a street pharmacy. They're just open to the front a lot of times, and they had a couple things that I was looking for that I haven't that have been out of stock in other pharmacies. But back to the market, I buy probably more broccoli than most other vegetables, and it has some really good nutritional value. Any cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower, cabbage. In fact, I just bought some new cabbage. Gonna make some more sauerkraut. And sauerkraut, once you take cabbage all by itself, it's very nutritious, good for you, healthy. But once you make sauerkraut out of it, ferment it, it becomes even more. My understanding is it has very, very high vitamin C content, as a matter of fact, much better than getting it naturally than taking ascorbic acid tablets, which are just one very little component of vitamin C. But anyway, I found the price of some of broccoli, for instance, has dropped from, here's a couple traffic enforcers. I don't know if they knew the guy, but they were getting a good chuckle with him anyway. Anyway, the broccoli went from 200 pesos per kilogram. There's 2.2 pounds in a kilogram, to 180. So it went from 200 to 180, I think, a week ago. And yesterday, when I was down there, it was 160 per kilogram. And so, I can put out prices. I can do a cost of living, put out prices for a lot of groceries. But there are a number of things happening. The fruits and vegetables can be very seasonable, and prices change. Where you buy it can have a big effect. Like the broccoli, probably in the supermarket, probably costs 100 pesos more per kilogram, something like that. But if I'm in the supermarket and it's convenient, I'll grab it there, because, like I said, it takes time and transportation money to go someplace else to get it. Another thing that is happening is that inflation. Of course, we're getting inflation. I just bought some Filipino coffee beans, and it is actually some pretty good coffee. And I had been buying Kirkland brand, Costco brand coffee. I like the taste of it, but two stores, S&R and Metro, were both out of it last time. Like a month ago, I went there, and they were out of stock. So I suspect the next batch they get in will be much higher in price, because I think there was an issue with the with coffee harvests in Brazil, one of the places, perhaps other places. You've got huge shipping increases over the last 2 years, as the disruption in shipping and transportation and travel has really upped the cost to ship anything. And I tend to buy a fair amount of imported goods, and those prices are going up. You have natural inflation, and I did find some Italian coffee too. I got a kilogram, 100 grams, Cafe Caroma, and I just got the beans and I ground them up this morning. Had my first cup of coffee, and I like the price. I like the taste. I don't remember what I paid for it, but I was surprised. It was quite reasonable. So I will probably try to stock up a bit. Now along here, back in here, near here, there is a post office, Philippine Phil Post, what they call Phil Post. There's a big post office. You don't find regular mail delivery a lot of times here. Now I say that, somebody's going to argue with me. I haven't seen traveling. I haven't seen mailboxes on the sides of roads outside of houses. We have mailboxes in the condominiums that I lived in, but it's the security guy who usually hands me my, for instance, my electric bill. They don't put it in my mailbox. It would be interesting to hear in the comments section of those of you who mail things back to your countries, and those of you who receive mail, how that's working out for you. I've got a friend who some months he gets a bank statement here, and some months he doesn't. You'll have to wait a couple months before it arrives. Just past a emission testing place. Yes, they do emission testing here. And here you can see some of the prices, and they've gone up since here in the last couple of weeks too. Now they're talking prices may drop a little bit here in the coming week or so. And these are your, I guess what they call multi-cabs. Usually it is part Japanese. Parts get shipped in from Japan, and then they put pieces and parts together. Had a friend, John and Cindy from Phil's in Phoenix, YouTube. They bought one. They've had varying degrees of success and issues with the one that they bought. Very small engines in them. Very, very small engines. I think 660 cc, something like that, like a motorcycle size engine. Well, something I see very little, which surprises me, perhaps because they don't require all the pollution sensors and everything on vehicles here in the Philippines, is a broke down vehicle, whether it be a truck or car, motorbike. You'll see motorbikes with flat tires, or they're out of fuel, pushing it down the road, looking for a vulcanizer, somebody patched their tire, but very, very rare. And that building up there, that is part of the huge development, and I'll show you a model of that. Here it is here, of the Gatewalk. And that will be spread out across both sides of this road eventually, is my understanding. I saw that it had a little bit of damage from Super Typhoon Odette on the facing, but I don't know how accurate these layouts are. They're just something to put up and show that we're gonna build something here. The present buildings would be the first two here, I believe, and I suspect the residential buildings will be over on the other side of the street, I suspect. I like to walk. I haven't had any issues, pretty much no issues walking. People are friendly. I feel safer here than I do walking around many parts of the USA. I've known a couple people who never walk. They're afraid to walk. They never leave their neighborhood unless it's in a taxi, and that's fine if that's how you feel. Because if you look like prey, then you probably are prey. Somebody's going to notice it. And here's a map of the trip. Basically, I started up here, Bamboo Bay. I started the video right here. I crossed the street, Cabahog Street. And if you take Cabahog Street back this way, you've got a couple hotels along here, Sorosa Hotel, and you've got, come on, over here you've got Castle Peak Hotel. Got Lander's Superstore, which is like a Costco here, and you've got Ayala Center, the big Ayala Mall right here. Let's see, over this way you got Park Mall, an older, smaller mall. You got the Bay Hotel. Couple hospitals over here, University or Cebu Doctors University Hospital, as well as University of Cebu Medical Center, and something that's not listed. There's a Chunghwa Hospital over here, very new one as well. S&R, they're again just like a Costco, much like a Costco, some of Costco's brands. And anyway, so we started up here and we walked down Hernan Cortez Street. And here's Gatewalk Central, this big square here. And I think they're going to, part of it's going to be over on this side as well. There's a big open lot over here. Not absolutely positive, but anyway, as you come down here, if you would keep following that street, you would hit the Bayfront Hotel, the Radisson Blue Hotel, and SM Malls Cebu City. So it was quite often when I lived up here, I would walk that distance. I don't know, maybe 30 minutes. I walk a little faster than the average person, I guess. But anyway, while I've got you here on this map, if you're still with me, Cebu IT Park up in this area, kind of a city within a city. A lot of call centers, a lot of bank buildings, other corporate buildings, I believe. This place here, 88th Avenue. I've done a video in there. Waterfront Hotel and Casino here in Cebu, just across the street from Cebu IT Park. Not sure if the casino is open yet or not with these restrictions. I'm not sure. I'll have to check in there one day. But they also have a waterfront, and I've done a video both places. Waterfront Hotel across from the airport over in Mactan Island, Lapu-Lapu over there. Some of you have stayed there. So I would encourage you, wherever you're going to stay, whatever part of the Philippines, that you get out and explore your neighborhood a bit. And I was a little apprehensive when I first met here, going a few places. In fact, the broker that helped me find my first place and did the paperwork, he even stated, I stayed at my first place at Dottis, and I've done a video there, and dozens of other videos of condominiums and developments. How much they cost, what they look like. He said, don't go down this direction. Don't go down this street this direction. Only turn to the right and go that direction. He says, I wouldn't even go down there. And he was a little bit younger guy, but I've walked down there a number of times. You know, when somebody tells me, don't do something, it's like, sooner or later, it's like, I wonder why he said that. You know, and I ask around, and people say, no, it's not dangerous there. Yeah. Very friendly people. Maybe at night you might want to be more careful in a lot of areas, but there again, I haven't had issues, very rarely. Anyway, thanks for coming along. Stay safe, stay healthy. Hope we can all travel just like it was old times again soon. See ya.